Welcome everyone to the Puck Drops here. This is Peter Fife, and of course we've got the big video that I've been teasing for about a couple of weeks finally upon us. That's the NHL prediction video. This encompasses so many things: awards, Hall of Fame, records, who wins the cup, everything else. Note the hat is not of a team that's going to win the cup, so don't mind the Detroit hat. And also just wanted to let you know, just came off my radar just as I was bringing this introduction. The Canucks are closer to inking the re-signing deals with Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson, who are faces of their franchise. So that's really good. Really, really good. But if the NHL predictions, so that'll be today. So it's going to be a really big video and an interesting, important video to talk about. So we'll go first by the divisions and the division winners. So I don't have records, but I have them. So let's go. Remember, we're back to the Metro, Central, Pacific, and Atlantic, but the divisions have 8 teams each as Arizona switches to the Central, and there's a new team in the Pacific, Seattle Kraken. So for the Eastern Conference of the Metropolitan Division, the Hurricanes will win the division, first seed. The Islanders will be second, they're a playoff team. The Capitals will be third, they're a playoff team. The fourth will be the Penguins, they're also a playoff team. Fifth will be the Flyers, also a playoff team, so hence there's no playoff teams in the Atlantic past the first 3. The Devils in 6th place, eliminated. The Rangers in 7th place, no, I don't believe in them. They're eliminated. And Columbus, hapless Columbus, in 8th place, eliminated. And the 2022 Metro Division champions, the Carolina Hurricanes. The Atlantic Division champs, the Panthers. The 2nd place, Tampa Bay Lightning, team that won the Cup last year and beat the Panthers last year in the playoffs. 3rd seed, the Bruins, they're also a playoff team. And then 4th seed, the Leafs. I do not believe the Leafs are a playoff team. I believe the Flyers are a better team. We can talk about that later. But the Leafs eliminated 4th place. The Red Wings, 5th place, also eliminated. The Canadians, who I think are going to take a massive step back, 6th place, also eliminated. The 7th, Ottawa Senators, eliminated. And the 8th seed, Sabres, eliminated. And the Atlantic Division champions of 2022, the Florida Panthers. In the Central Division, the Avalanche, division winners of the Central, they will be in first place. The Wild, second place, or the wild card, or not the wild card, second place Wild playoff spot. Nashville, third place playoff spot. 4th place Chicago, playoff spot, and we'll let you know what wild cards they are in, and then the 2 Pennsylvania wild cards in the Eastern Conference. 5th place will be Dallas, they're eliminated. 6th place will be St. Louis, they're eliminated. Winnipeg, 7th place, they're eliminated. And Arizona, hapless Coyotes, eliminated at 8th place. And the Central Division champions, the Colorado Avalanche. They win another division title. That's the third straight division title for the Colorado Avalanche. It is the third straight, as I said, division championship for them. It's the first division championship for Florida since 2012, or 2016, excuse me. It is Carolina's 2nd straight division championship, and the first ever time they've won the Metro. Panthers have never won the Atlantic, and the Avalanche, it's the 3rd time they've won the Central. They won it in 2020 and 2014. The Pacific Division champions, well, let's go to the Pacific Division. First are the Vegas Golden Knights. Second is Edmonton, their playoff team, obviously. Seattle, surprisingly, I think they'll be third as a playoff team. 4th will be Vancouver as a playoff team. Kings, so close, but they're not there yet. In 5th place, they're eliminated. In 6th place, Calgary. In 7th place, Anaheim. And in 8th place, awful San Jose Sharks. And the Pacific Division champions are the Vegas Golden Knights. Here are the complete standings, so you know like who's won out of everybody, and 32. The 1 seed, so the 1 seed in the entire league, so the President's Trophy winners for the 2nd straight year, and for the 4th year in franchise history, the Avalanche win the President's Trophy. Number 2 is Carolina. Number 3 is Florida. Number 4 is Tampa Bay. Number 5 is Vegas. Number 6 are the Islanders. Number 7 are the Oilers. Number 8 are Wild. Number 9 is Boston. Number 10 is Washington. Number 11 is Seattle. Number 12 is Pittsburgh. Number 13 is Nashville. Number 14 is Philadelphia. Number 15 is Toronto. Number 16 is Chicago. Number 17 is Vancouver. Number 18 is Dallas. Number 19 is the Kings. Number 20 are Detroit. Number 21 are the Blues. Number 22 are the Flames. Number 23 is Montreal. Number 24 are New Jersey. Number 25 is Winnipeg. Number 26 is the Rangers. Number 27 is Ottawa. Number 28 is Columbus. Number 29 is Arizona. Number 30 is Anaheim. Number 31 are the Sabres, but even though they're probably the worst organization in sports, the worst, and that's from a management set by the franchise is good, but I think the worst team will be the San Jose Sharks. And I like the Sharks, but I think they'll be the worst team by far in the NHL just due to the cap issues. Derek Carlson and Logan Couture's numbers are not great and everything like that. Just the Sharks to me is underwhelming. I didn't do it until today, but it's kind of in that type of order. So we'll have to go, before we get to the playoffs, we'll have to go right to the All-Stars, and then we'll go right to the playoffs. So for the All-Stars, for the All-Star teams, for the Atlantic All-Star team, we got Barkov. He'll be the captain. This, of course, is, I believe, in Sunrise. So it'll be home, so they'll love him. Barkov is the captain. He's for Florida. Kucherov makes the All-Star team. Marchand, and remember, it's 7 forwards, 2 defensemen, and 2 goalies, and every team has to have at least 1 All-Star. Marchand from the Bruins, Matthews from the Leafs, Larkin from the Red Wings, Chuck from the Senators, Bergeron from the Bruins. Those are your forwards. And so the Bruins get 2 All-Stars. From Tampa, they get Hedman as well as a defenseman. The other defenseman, Jeff Petrie from Montreal. As the goalies, Andrei Vasilevsky and Jack Campbell are the goaltenders for the Atlantic team. And 1 goalie from Tampa and 1 goalie for Toronto. And the head coach of the Atlantic Division team is Joel Quenneville. So obviously the coach of the Panthers. See, how this works, guys, is coaches of teams that lead the division, and remember, I said Florida wins the division, they're the coach that is the coach of the All-Star team. Metro All-Star roster: Aho from the Hurricanes, Barzal from the Islanders, Ovechkin from the Caps, Crosby from the Penguins, and yes, I know Crosby's out for almost a month. Couturier from the Flyers, Hughes from the Devils, Zibanejad from the Rangers, Werenski from the Blue Jackets, Carlson from the Caps as your defenseman, so those are all your forwards. Zibanejad will be the captain of Team Metro. Your defenseman, John Carlson, Zach Werenski. Goalies, Shesterkin and Korpisalo, and the head coach of division leading, Rod Brind'Amour. Central Division All-Star roster: Nathan MacKinnon, he's the captain from the Avalanche. Kaprizov, Patrick Kane, Kaprizov, Minnesota, Patrick Kane from Chicago, Jamie Benn from Dallas, Ryan O'Reilly from St. Louis, Blake Wheeler from Winnipeg, Mikko Rantanen from Colorado, Miro Heiskanen from Dallas, Jacob Chychrun from Arizona, Darcy Kemper from Colorado, and Connor Hellebuck from Winnipeg. So the Jets, I don't think will have a great year if they have 2 All-Stars, Wheeler and Hellebuck. I was thinking Scheifele, but being suspended for so long because of the hit in the playoffs against Montreal tells me that that's not a guy that I think will have enough time to be an All-Star. But he might. Jared Bednar is the head coach because Colorado leads the division. Pacific Division All-Star roster, and I did not pick who won the All-Star games. Jonathan Marchessault, Vegas. McDavid, he's the captain from Edmonton. Horvat from Vancouver. Kopitar from the Kings. Tkachuk from Calgary. Couture from San Jose. Draisaitl from Edmonton. Theodore as the defenseman from Vegas. Quinn Hughes from Vancouver. Grubauer from Seattle, and John Gibson from Anaheim. Also, Shesterkin's my starter for the Metro. Grubauer's my starter for the Pacific. Kemper's my starter for the Central, and for the Atlantic, my starter Vasilevsky. So by far the Pacific has the edge in goalies, even though the best goalie in the world is probably Andrei Vasilevsky. Best goalie in the world, probably Andrei Vasilevsky. Okay, so let's go to the playoffs, guys. So we start with... Sorry, it's taking me a little bit to get there. So the Metro. Obviously, it's Devils Division, so you start there. Second wild card, Philly Flyers at number 1, Carolina Hurricanes with the second best record in the league and the best in the East. First time they've ever had the number 1 seed in the East, unless you counted last year's East, but it kind of wasn't the same thing. First Stanley Cup playoff meeting between Philadelphia and Carolina. Carolina is 6-3 all time in the first round of the playoffs. Philly is 23-18 all time in the first round of the playoffs. 4th consecutive time in the first round for Carolina. First playoff meeting for Philadelphia since 2020. Game 1 in Carolina. Flyers win 2-1. Goals by Atkinson and Oscar Lindblom. Lindblom gets the game winner. Svechnikov the lone goal for Carolina. So Philly leads the series 1-0. Game 2. back in Raleigh. And the Carolina Hurricanes beat Philadelphia 6-2. Flyer goals: Sean Couturier, Ivan Provorov. Goals by Carolina from Vincent Trocheck, Martin Necas, Sebastian Aho. He gets the game winner. Jordan Staal, Jordan Martinook, and Brett Pesce. And the series is tied at 1. Go to Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. 4-1 thumping by the Carolina Hurricanes. Goals by Carolina by Derek Stepan, Jesper Fast, and Fast is the former Ranger with the game winner. Jacob Slavin and Andrei Svechnikov, his second goal of the series. Flyers get 1 goal from playoff underachiever Travis Konecny. And Carolina leads the series 2-1. Game 4, the first playoff game to go in overtime that we've mentioned in Philadelphia. The Hurricanes win 3-2 in overtime. Sebastian Aho has 2 goals. Jake Gardner, the former Toronto Maple Leaf, is the overtime game winner. Flyer goals from Claude Giroux and Travis Konecny, second of the playoffs. And Carolina has a 3-1 stranglehold of the series after losing the first game. In Game 5 in Philadelphia, this one also goes to overtime, but the Flyers win. Flyers get goals from Allison, Scott Lawton, Sebastian Morin, and Ryan Ellis, the acquisition from Nashville, as the overtime game winner. Goals for Carolina: Teuvo Teravainen, Niederreiter, and Fast. And also the Flyers go up 3-0, then relinquish 3 goals, but then they score the game winner on a power play, Ryan Ellis. Send the series back to Philadelphia, and Ryan Ellis' overtime game winner is the final Flyer playoff goal, as Carolina shuts out the Flyers 2-0. Jordan Martinook gets the game winner, and Svechnikov puts in another tally. No goals for the Flyers, and the Carolina Hurricanes win the series 4-2 and advance to the second round to play either the Islanders or the Capitals. Ninth playoff meeting for the Islanders and the Capitals. All time for the Islanders and the Capitals, New York is 6-2 against Washington, even though Washington fairly recently in 2015 did win against the Islanders. Washington is 14-17 all time in the first round. Islanders are 16-11 all time in the first round. 4th consecutive time in the first round for the Islanders. 8th consecutive time in the first round for Washington, so they understand playoffs. Second time in 3 years between the Caps and the Islanders playing in the first round. It's also the first playoff game in the new UBC Arena in Belmont, New York. And in Belmont, New York, the Islanders win 3-2 in overtime. Their final technical home game, even though it was in Toronto, was also in overtime against the Caps in the playoffs. Also was won in overtime. Matt Barzal had the game winner. He doesn't this time. The last game won in the first round that the Islanders had, Kyle Palmieri scored the overtime winner. He does the same thing here. Goals also by Barzal and Cizikas. So Palmieri wins the game in overtime. And the goals by Washington are from John Carlson and Anthony Mantha. Game 2, Caps beat the Islanders 3-1. Goals by Garnet Hathaway, Alex Ovechkin, he gets the game winner, and Tom Wilson, the bane of New York, although not the Islanders. Cal Clutterbuck gets the lone goal for the Islanders on the Fisherman line. And the series is tied at 1. Game 3, the Islanders blank the Caps in Washington. Matt Barzal gets the game winner. Also goals by Josh Bailey, Adam Pelech, and Anders Lee. His first goal of the playoffs since the 2020 COVID Bowl, whatever you want to call it, bubble, because he didn't play in the playoffs last year because of the injury against the Devils. Game 4, Islanders win 4-3, a nail-biter against the Caps. Anders Lee pots 2 goals. Anthony Beauvillier and Scott Mayfield with the game winner. For the Caps, goals by TJ Oshie, Nicholas Backstrom, and Nick Dowd. Islanders lead the series 3-1. Back to New York they go, and Caps don't get anything done. A 4-1 win by the Islanders. A goal by Kuznetsov for the Caps, the final playoff goal for the Caps. And goals by Oliver Wahlstrom, Josh Bailey with the game winner. Palmieri notches his second of the playoffs, and Brock Nelson. And the Islanders win the series 4-1 and play the Hurricanes in the second round. Now let's go to the Atlantic Division. The first wild card, it's from the Metro Division, but since they're a wild card, they play in the Atlantic. The Penguins and the Florida Panthers. Second all-time playoff meeting between Pittsburgh and Florida. Florida's 1-0 all-time against the Penguins in the playoffs. That was all the way back in 1996 when the Panthers last playoff series win, actually. Pittsburgh is 20-15 all-time in the first round of the playoffs. Florida's 1-6 all-time in the first round of the playoffs. Their only series win coming in 1996 against the Boston Bruins. This is the 15th straight meeting in the first round for Pittsburgh and the 3rd straight meeting in the first round for Florida. Game 1 in Sunrise, Florida wins 3-2 over Pittsburgh. Goals by Gensel and Dumoulin for Pittsburgh. Also, Florida hasn't made the first round, won a playoff series since 1996. But the Penguins haven't won a playoff series since 2018, so it's not as long, but they still have had some issues. Obviously, the loss to Montreal, that definitely hurt them. Islanders before that, and then Islanders last year. Ekblad, Duclair, Verhaeghe with the game winner for the Panthers. The goals there. And Dumoulin, if I didn't say it, for the Penguins. Penguins win 3-2 in Game 2 and tie the series. Goals by Crosby, Rust, and Gensel with the game winner. Gensel's second goal of the playoffs. Florida goals by Jonathan Huberdeau and Mason Marshman. Series gets tied at 1-1, one apiece. Game 3, we go to Game 3. Florida knocks down Pittsburgh 4-2. Goals for Florida by Sam Reinhart, Ryan Lomberg, Gustav Forsling, he gets the game winner, and Mason Marshman, second of the playoffs. Pittsburgh goals by Kasperi Kapanen and Evan Rodriguez, and the Panthers lead the series 2-1. In Game 4, Florida wins 2-1 over Pittsburgh. Both Florida goals, including the game winner, are scored by Alexander Barkov. Pittsburgh's lone marker is by Evgeny Malkin. It's first goal of the playoffs. Florida takes the 3-1 series lead, go to Game 5, and a 5-2 Panther thumping to win the playoff series for the first time in over 25 years. Goals for Pittsburgh by Zucker and Crosby. Zucker's first goal of the playoffs, Crosby's second. Goals for Florida by Huberdeau, Nola Chari, Patrick Hornquist, he gets the game winner, Anton Lundell, and Sam Bennett. And Florida wins the series 4-1 and advances to the second round to play either Tampa Bay or Boston. For Bruins and the Lightning, fourth all-time meeting between Tampa Bay and Boston in the playoffs. Tampa Bay is 2-1 all-time against the Bruins in the playoffs. Tampa Bay is 8-6 all-time in the first round. Boston is 36-33 all-time in the first round. Third playoff meeting in the last 5 years between Tampa Bay and Boston. We should also note that Boston is one of only 2 original 6 teams in the playoffs this year. I'll have to wait to see who the other one is. Third playoff meeting in the last 5 years between Tampa Bay and Boston. 5 straight years in the first round for Tampa Bay. 6 straight years in the first round for Boston. Game 1 from Amalie Arena. The Lightning and the Bruins. 4-1 Tampa against the Boston Bruins. Jake DeBrusk with the lone goal for Boston. Andre Palat, Killorn will get the game winner. Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov also get goals for the Lightning. Lightning lead the series 1-0. Game 2, Bruins and Lightning in Tampa. This one goes to overtime, and the Lightning beat the Bruins 3-2. Bruins get goals from Bergeron and Hall. Lightning get goals by Point, Chernak, and Anthony Cirelli gets the overtime winner, and the Lightning are up 2-0. Go to Boston, a 4-2 win by the Bruins against the Lightning. Goals by Point and Killorn in Game 3. Marchand gets 2 goals. Travis Frederick, Bruin fan favorite, gets the game winner, and Craig Smith also another goal. 2-1 series. Now 5-3 Bruins in Game 4 to tie the series. Goals by Sergachev, Kucherov, and Colton for the Lightning. For the Bruins, goals by DeBrusk, Bergeron, Coyle, Chris Wagner with the game winner, and also Brad Marchand, his second goal of the playoff. Series is tied at 2. Go to Game 5. Lightning thumped the Bruins 5-1. Only Bruin goal is scored by David Pastrnak. Lightning at Stamkos, Cirelli with his second goal of the playoffs and second game winner of the playoffs. Hedman and Braden Point, who also notches 2 goals. Lightning lead the series 3-2. Go to Game 6 in Boston, and the Lightning eviscerate Boston 6-0 in TD Garden. Kucherov will get the game winner. Palat gets a goal, as well as Stamkos. Killorn, Matthew Joseph, his first of the playoffs, and Maroon, his first of the playoffs. And second straight year that Maroon has scored a goal in Game 6 of the first round. It happened last year against the Panthers. Ended up being a series winner, but Kucherov gets the series winner against the Bruins. We get to the Western Conference now, because the Lightning play the Panthers, so we know that. We know it's Carolina Islanders and Lightning and Panthers. All the top seeds have prevailed. In the Western Conference, the Central Division, the second wild card, who actually does not come from the Central, comes from the Pacific, Canucks and the Avalanche. Third all-time meeting between Vancouver and Colorado. Colorado is 2-0 all-time against the Canucks. The Canucks are 11-17 all-time in the first round of the playoffs. Colorado is 12-5 all-time in the first round of the playoffs. This is also the first meeting between Vancouver and Colorado since 2001. This is the first round meeting for the Canucks since 2020. This is the 5th straight first round meeting for the Avalanche. Game 1 from Ball Arena, 3-0 Colorado shutout. Goals for Colorado by Kadri, Rantanen, and JT Compher. They lead the series 1-0. In Game 2, Colorado wins 2-1. Besser has the lone goal for the Canucks. Landeskog and Tyson Jost will get the game winner for the Avalanche. Colorado lead the series 2-0. And in Game 3, the Canucks win 3-2 to cut back into the series. Goals for the Avalanche by Makar and Nathan MacKinnon. Horvat, Garland, and Tyler Mott gets the game winner for the Canucks. And Colorado leads the series 2-1 here in Game 4. In overtime, Colorado wins in overtime 2-1. Burakovsky and MacKinnon will get the overtime game winner. Remember, a few years he scored the regular season overtime winner against the Canucks. Continues his dominance. Lone goal for the Canucks is scored by former Ranger and Bolt JT Miller. And the Avalanche lead the series 3-1, looking to close it out at home, but they cannot. A 6-3 throttling by the Canucks over Colorado. Canuck goals by Quinn Hughes, Bo Horvat, Elias Pettersson, Jason Dickinson, who gets the game winner, Brent Sutter, and Vasily Podkolzin, and Niels Hoglander. For Colorado, Valeri Nichushkin, Mikko Rantanen, and Bowen Byram with the goals. Colorado leads the series 3-2, and the Avalanche, just like the Lightning did, blank out the opposing team in the elimination game in Game 6. Avalanche 4-0. Valeri Nichushkin with the game winner, second goal of the playoffs. Makar, his second goal of the playoffs. Andrei Burakovsky and Tyson Jost, his second goal of the playoffs. And that's the end of the series. Colorado wins 4-2 and will play the winner of Minnesota and Nashville. Nashville and Minnesota, first playoff meeting between the Predators and the Wild. The Predators are 5-9 in the first round of the playoffs in their history. The Wild are 3-7 in the first round of the playoffs, although the Wild, they made the playoffs before the Predators did, and they won a playoff round before the Predators did. In fact, they won a playoff round before the Predators even qualified for the playoffs. But the Predators have been more dominant in the first round since then, due to their mid-teens teams from around like the 2015 to 2020. And you could even go back a few bits of those 2011, 2012 teams. They've always been dominant in that spec, but haven't won the Cup. They've been to the Cup final once. Wild haven't won a game in the conference final. Last time they were in the conference final was 2003. But digress. This is the seventh straight first-round playoff meeting for Nashville. This is the second straight first-round playoff meeting for Minnesota. Third straight first-round playoff meeting for Minnesota, as I count the game against the Canucks a few years ago, 2020, as a first-round playoff meeting. Because no, it wasn't first round, it was qualifiers, but that's playoff hockey. Game 1 in XL Energy Center. The Wild win 3-1. Matt Duchene, the lone goal for the Predators. Joel Eriksson Ek, Ryan Hartman, the game winner. And Jordan Greenway. And the Wild lead the series 1-0. Game 2, the Predators flipped the script 3-1. Forsberg, Ekholm with the game winner, and Luke Kunin. For the Wild, Kevin Fiala. And also Kunin had a great playoff against the Hurricanes last year. But Fiala gets the lone goal, and Fiala also a former Nashville Predator. Game 3, the Predators in a tie series win in overtime in Game 3, again, just like last year when they won in overtime against the Hurricanes, 3-2. Kevin Fiala and Marcus Foligno, Fiala's second goal of the playoffs, second against his former team. The goals for the Wild. For the Predators, Duchene, Philip Myers, and Luke Kunin gets the overtime game winner. Another overtime game winner. He had one last year, as we said, in Game 4 against Carolina. He has one here in Game 3 against Minnesota. And Nashville leads the series 2-1. Game 4, the Wild thumped the Preds. Preds trying to get a stranglehold. They can't do anything. Only goal by the Predators is scored by Philip Forsberg. For Minnesota, Victor Rask, Nico Sturm with the game winner, Ryan Hartman, Jonas Brodin, and Kirill Kaprizov. Kaprizov's first goal of the playoffs. So a tie series going to Minnesota. A double overtime win for the Wild in Minnesota. The Predators in Minnesota. Rocco Grimaldi with the double overtime game winner to send handshakes possibly back to Nashville. But the Wild punt the Preds 4-3. Jordan Greenway, Marco Rossi's first NHL playoff goal, Stanley Cup playoff goal. Kevin Fiala's third goal of the series. And Frederick Gaudreau against his former team gets the game winner. Nashville getting goals by Ryan Johansson, Colton Sissons, and Nick Cousins. And we go to Game 7 in Minnesota. And the Wild, who have not played a Game 7 since 2014, when they beat the Avalanche in overtime in Denver. And the Wild have never hosted a Game 7 in their playoff history. And they win 2-0 in Minnesota. Eriksson Ek gets the game winner, Nico Sturm. Second goal of the playoffs for Nico. And the Wild win the series in 7 games and advance to the second round to play Colorado. The Pacific Division now. The first wild card team, Chicago. Yep, that's the second original 6 team, along with the Boston Bruins. Chicago and Vegas. Second all-time meeting between Vegas and Chicago in the playoffs. Vegas is 3-1 all-time in the first round. Chicago is 30-33 in all-time in the first round. Remember, Vegas has only been around for 6 years. Chicago's been around for around 90. These are the Blackhawks' second first-round appearance since 2020. This is the 5th straight first-round appearance for Vegas. Game 1, the Knights win 4-1. DeBrincat, the lone goal for the Blackhawks. Goals by Marchessault, Stone with the captain with the game winner, Chandler Stevenson, and Will Carrier. Knights lead the series 1-0. Game 2, in overtime, the Knights win 3-2. Goals by Kirby Dach and Connor Murphy for the Hawks. Carlson, Shea Theodore, and just like a few years ago when Riley Smith scored an overtime game winner to take a 2-0 lead in the series against the Blackhawks, he does the same thing, except this time in Vegas, not Edmonton. Riley Smith, the overtime game winner, and the Knights take a 2-0 lead. Heading to Chicago. And in the Madhouse on Madison, they're rocking again as the Hawks win 2-1 over Vegas. Vegas' lone goal from former King, who broke the hearts of Blackhawk fans a number of years ago, Alec Martinez, by Kirby Dach, and the game winner, Patrick Kane, for the Hawks. Patrick Kane's first goal of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Vegas leads the series 2-1. This game goes to overtime, and the Hawks win this time 3-2 over Vegas. Goals by Pacioretty and Keegan Colasar for the Knights. For the Hawks, Gaudette, Hagel, and Jonathan Taves, the captain, with the overtime game winner, his first goal of the playoffs and first goal since he scored one in Game 4 against the Knights a number of years ago, since he missed the entire season last year. But he did play the other night against Detroit in the preseason, and he is ready to go. Series tied 2-2. Game 5 now. Vegas 5, Chicago nothing. Vegas blanks the Hawks. Hawks don't score any goals. Carrier scores 2 goals and the game winner. Tuck, Braden McNabb, his first goal of the playoffs, and Mark Stone's second goal of the playoffs. Tuck also scores his first of the playoffs. Knights lead the series 3-2. 4-2 win by the Knights in Game 6. To close out the series, Patrick Kane scores his second goal of the playoffs. Tyler Johnson scores his first Stanley Cup playoff goal as a Chicago Blackhawk. And Vegas gets goals by Jonathan Marchessault, Riley Smith, Nick Hague with the game winner, and Max Pacioretty. Seattle and Edmonton, as Vegas will take the winner of that. Yep, the expansion Seattle against Edmonton, who has not won a playoff round since 2017 when they knocked down the Sharks in 6. And they haven't got past the second round since 2006. And I've only made the playoffs a number of times. But the first ever meeting in the playoffs for Seattle and the Oilers, and between the two, and the first ever playoff meeting for Seattle in general. Edmonton is 14-9 in the first round. This is obviously the first ever playoff meeting for Seattle, and this is the 3rd straight first round playoff meeting for the Oilers after suffering back-to-back losses to Chicago and Winnipeg. Seattle and Edmonton. In Edmonton, Oilers 2, Seattle 1. Kaya Jarnkrok, the lone goal for the Kraken. Darnell Nurse and Draisaitl gets the overtime game winner, his first playoff overtime goal and his first goal of the playoffs for Draisaitl. Also, Nurse gets his first 1-0 series lead for the Oilers. 3-0 shutout by the Kraken, and the Kraken notched their first franchise playoff shutout. Grubauer notches his first playoff shutout as a member of the Seattle Kraken. Cole Lind, the former Canuck, with the game winner. Jaden Schwartz and Vince Dunn, 2 former Blues, also notch goals. 1-1 series tie. We go to Game 3 in Seattle. 4-3, Seattle wins their first ever home playoff victory. For Edmonton, goals by Hash, Chason, and Cahoon. And 2 Germans in that list, which is kind of interesting. And it's not really a hockey powerhouse. Yanni Gourde, Alexander True, Jaden Schwartz, and Jared McCann, the former Panther and Penguin, is the guy with the game winner. 2-1 series lead for Seattle. Game 4, Edmonton knocks down Seattle 4-1. Goals by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, his first Stanley Cup playoff goal as an Oiler, and first goal of the playoffs. He gets the game winner. Jesse Puljujarvi and Tyson Barrie, goals for Edmonton. Seattle gets 1 goal by Morgan Geekie, who was shining in the game against Vancouver the other night in the preseason. He gets a goal in Game 4. Series tied at 2. Go to Game 5. In overtime, the Seattle Kraken win 5-4 over the Oilers. Seattle with goals by Adam Larson, Jonas Donskoy, Yanni Gord, Mason Appleton, and Jordan Eberle gets the overtime game winner. His first overtime game winner since double overtime win against the Lightning a couple of years ago when he was an Islander. In Edmonton, and I guess his former team, Edmonton, Connor McDavid notches a hat trick in a losing affair, and Haas scores his second of the playoffs. Seattle leads the series 3-2. 6-2 thumping in Game 6 by Seattle. Yes, Seattle upsets the Oilers and win their first ever playoff series. Draisaitl and Slater Kotkak, the former Chicago Blackhawk, with the goals. Well, with the goal, Draisaitl's second goal in the playoffs. Goals for Edmonton. For Seattle, Colin Blackwell, former Ranger, Jeremy Lauzon, Alex Wenberg, he gets the game winner. Mark Giordano, Marcus Johansson, Marcus Johansson, and Riley Shane. And the Seattle advanced to play the Vegas Golden Knights. You got an expansion team matchup in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Pacific Division rights. In the second round, the Lightning and the Panthers. This is the second all-time meeting between Tampa and Florida. It's the first meeting between Tampa and Florida in the second round. Tampa is 7-1 in the second round and has won 7 straight series in the second round, which is incredible. Their second round reports, despite getting crushed by the Blue Jackets a few years ago in the first round, their second round report is just unbelievable. They've only lost a second round series once in their history, and it was in 2003 against the Devils, who went on to win the Stanley Cup, and that was in 5 games. And they haven't lost a second round series since that they've been in. Florida is 1-0 in the second round. Their only second round playoff series victory coming against the Flyers in upset fashion in 1996. This is the third straight second round series appearance for Tampa Bay. This is the first second round appearance for Florida since 1996. And Tampa Bay is 1-0 all time against Florida, since this is also the second straight playoff meeting between the Lightning and the Panthers. Game 1 in Sunrise. Lightning win 4-1. Goals by Braden Point. Another game winner, third game winner of the playoffs by Anthony Cirelli, Victor Hedman, and Steven Stamkos. Get goals. Lone Panther goals scored by Jonathan Huberdeau. Game 2, Florida smashes the Lightning 5-0. No goals for the Lightning. Mason Marchment gets the game winner. Patrick Hornquist, Nola Chari, Sam Bennett, and Gustav Forsling with goals as well. Series tied at 1. Game 3, we go to Tampa. Panthers win 3-2 and take their first series lead ever against the Lightning in playoff history. Barkov, Vetrano, and Joe Thornton scores his first playoff goal as a Florida Panther, and it's the game winner. Alex Killorn and Corey Perry goals for the Lightning. Florida leads the series 2-1. In Game 4, the Panthers are on verge of going up 3-1 in the series, but the Lightning win in overtime, 2-1. Kucherov gets both goals, the overtime game winner, and the lone goal for the Panthers is scored by Barkov. Game 5, Lightning win 5-2 in Sunrise. Lightning goals, Matthew Joseph, Andre Palat, Ryan Colton, his second goal of the playoffs, first goal of the series, the game winner, Braden Point, and Eric Chernak. For Florida, goals by Mason Marchment and Frank Vetrano. Tampa leads the series 3-2. In Game 6, Tampa wins 3-2 over the Panthers. Goals by Jonathan Huberdeau and Sam Reinhart. Sam Reinhart's first playoff goal as a Panther. And goals by McDonough, Maroon, and Stamkos gets the game winner for the Lightning. And the Lightning again advance to their third straight conference final. I believe it's 4 in 6 years or whatever the span is. And again, in the conference final, they go to face the winner of the Islanders, who they've played the last 2 years, or Carolina, who they've played in the playoffs before last year, but never played in the conference final. Islanders and Hurricanes, second all-time playoff meeting and second round meeting between the Carolina and the Islanders. This is the second playoff meeting in 4 years between Carolina and New York. They met in 2019 when the Hurricanes swept the Islanders out of the playoffs after the Islanders had swept Pittsburgh out of the playoffs, and the Penguins were majorly favored by most people. Not me, but most people. Carolina is 4-1 all-time in the second round of the playoffs. The Islanders are 11-4 in the second round of the playoffs. This is the fourth straight second-round appearance for the Islanders. This is the second straight second-round series for Carolina in their third in 4 years. Carolina is 1-0 all-time against the Islanders and have never lost a playoff game against the New York Islanders. Game 1, the Hurricanes lose their first playoff game against the Islanders. 1-0 shutout for Varlamov in New York. Anders Lee gets the game winner, the only goal. No goals by Carolina. Game 2, 4-1 Hurricanes win. Only goal for the Islanders scored by Josh Bailey. Goals for Carolina scored by Sebastian Aho, Jake Gardiner, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, his first Stanley Cup playoff goal as a Carolina Hurricane, and Martin Necas. Third goal of the playoffs for Necas. Series tied at 1. Game 3 in double overtime, the Hurricanes beat the Islanders 3-2. Remember, they beat the Islanders only once in their history in overtime. That happened in a scoreless tie in Game 1 a few years ago when Jordan Staal had the winner. Here, it is not Jordan Staal, but it is really hurtful for Islander fans. The goals are scored by Svechnikov and Martinook. In double overtime, the game winner scored by former New York Ranger Jesper Fast. The Islanders gets goals by Cal Clutterbuck and Brock Nelson to tie the game. 7-1, absolute thrashing by the Islanders at home against Carolina. Carolina's only goal is by aforementioned Jordan Staal, who scores the first goal of the game, but then 7 straight by the Isles. Goals by Palmieri, Leo Komarov with the game winner, Brock Nelson, Scott Mayfield, Matt Martin, Anders Lee, and Adam Pelech. Pelech's first goal of the playoffs. Go to Game 5, 5-0 shutout by Carolina against New York. Momentum goes, and it just shifts everywhere. No goals for New York. Aho gets the game winner. Jacob Slavin, Jordan Staal, Martin Necas, Trocheck, all goals for Carolina. Hurricanes lead the series 3-2, and the Hurricanes win 4-1 in New York. Goals by Svechnikov, Kotkaniemi. Jesperi Kotkaniemi gets the series winner. Jordan Martinook and Jesper Fast. Bavillier with the only goal for the Islanders, and the Hurricanes advance to the Eastern Conference Final to play Tampa Bay. In the Western Conference, in the Central, Minnesota and Colorado. It's the 4th all-time playoff meeting between the Avalanche and the Wild. This is the first playoff meeting between Minnesota and Colorado since 2014. Minnesota is 1-2 all-time in the second round, and it is the first second-round appearance since 2015 for the Wild. Colorado is 6-6 in the second round, and Colorado is making their 4th straight second-round appearance, and Colorado has not made the conference finals, which they're trying to do, since 2002, and the Wild have not made the conference finals since 2003. So somebody's going to break that streak. And Minnesota is also 2-1 all-time against Colorado in the playoffs, all that have happened in the first round, with wins in 7 games in overtime in 2003 and 2014, with a 6-game series loss in 2008 against the Avalanche. And in 2 of those years, the winner of the series, 2008 and 2014, did not advance past the second round. Joel Eriksson Ek, goals for the Wild. Oh, in Denver, excuse me. I did not set the setup. Game 1, Colorado wins 3-2 over the Wild. Goals by Joel Eriksson Ek and Ryan Hartman for the Wild. Goals by Andrei Burakovsky, Gabriel Landeskog, and Cal Makar, the game winner for the Avs. Avs would lead the series 1-0. Wild win in Denver, 5-3. And they've had a bunch of multi-goal leads in their history in Denver, but usually don't end up knocking those down. But they do here. Wild with goals by Zuccarello, Nico Sturm, Frederick Gaudreau, Nick Bjugstad with the game winner, and Ryan Hartman. Goals by Colorado are Valeri Nichushkin, Alexander Newhook, and Mikko Salamaki. Mikko Salamaki's first Stanley Cup playoff goal is at Colorado Ave. Game 3, Colorado blanks the Wild 4-0 in Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul. Goals by Nathan MacKinnon. He gets the game winner. Nazem Kadri, JT Compher, and Tyson Jost. 4th goal of the playoffs for Jost. He's heating up. Game 4, the Wild win 2-1 over the Avs. Mikko Rantanen, the lone goal for the Avalanche. Jordan Greenway and Jared Spurgeon, the captain, scores the game winner, his first goal of the playoffs for the Wild. 2-2 series tie. Go to Game 5. Avs win 5-4. Goals for the Wild are scored by Kaprizov, Fiala, Victor Rask, and Marcus Foligno. Goals for the Avalanche scored by Timmins, Newhook's second goal of the playoffs, Rantanen, JT Compher, and Tyson Jost, 5th goal of the postseason, and a game-winning goal to give the Avalanche a 3-2 series lead. Try to end it in Minnesota. They can't. 3-0 shutout by the Wild. The shutout being pitched by Talbot. Kaprizov with the game winner. Nico Sturm and Jonas Brodin also get goals. To Game 7, we go in Denver. 4-2 win by the Avs against the Wild. Kaprizov and Fiala, the goals for the Wild. Fiala gets the final goal of the playoffs for Minnesota. Carl Soderberg, Nathan MacKinnon, Andre Burakovsky with the game winner, and another for insurance, Valeri Nichushkin. 4-2 win by the Avalanche, and the Colorado Avalanche win the series in 7 and advance to play either Seattle or Vegas in the conference final. So the first playoff meeting between Seattle and Vegas, of course, a rematch of the opener, although they'll play each other 4 times a year. This is the first second-round playoff appearance for Seattle. Vegas is 3-0 in the second round with wins against Colorado last year. They also beat Vancouver and San Jose in 2018. Vegas has never lost a second-round playoff series in their history, and Vegas is making their 3rd straight second-round appearance. Game 1. Seattle and Vegas. Seattle wins 3-2 on the road. Goals by Jordan Eberle, Mark Giordano, his second goal of the playoffs, and Yanni Gourde gets the game winner. Guy who knows playoffs, the 2 Stanley Cups with Tampa Bay. Goals for Vegas scored by Keegan Colasar and Riley Smith. Seattle leads the series 1-0. Vegas thumps Seattle in Game 2, 5-1. Only Kraken goal scored by Yarncroke. Patrick Brown with a goal. Matthias Janmark, the game winner for Vegas. Jonathan Marchessault, Evgeny Dadonov, and also William Karlsson. And the series is tied at 1. Go to Game 3 in Seattle. Overtime win for the Knights, 3-2 in Seattle. Vegas, goals by Pacioretty, Waugh, and Will Carrier gets the overtime game winner. Jaden Schwartz and Alexander True goals for Seattle. Vegas leads the series 2-1. Double overtime in Game 4. Vegas wins 4-3. Goals by Mark Stone, Alex Pietrangelo, Keegan Colasar, Max Pacioretty, the double overtime game winner for Patchy. Seattle goals by Jared McCann, Alex Benberg, and Adam Larson. Vegas leads the series 3-1, but it's not over yet. A 5-2 thumping by the Kraken in Sin City. For Seattle, goals by Carson Soucy, Jonas Donskoy, Mason Appleton, the former Jet with the game winner, Morgan Geekie, and Marcus Johansson. For Vegas, goals by Chandler Stevenson and Alex Tuck. Vegas leads the series 3-2. Game 6, a shutout pitched by Grubauer, 2-0 Kraken. Goals by Will Borgen, who gets the game winner, and Riley Sheahan, second of the playoffs. No goals for Vegas. Go back to T-Mobile Arena, Game 7. The second Game 7, well, in fact, 4th straight year, Vegas has had to play a Game 7 in the playoffs. In 2019, obviously, that immense collapse against the Sharks. In 2020, against the Canucks. Last year against the Wild, and this year against the Kraken. Alexander True with the lone goal for Seattle. Riley Smith gets both goals and the series winner to eliminate the Kraken and advance the Knights to the conference final to play the President's Trophy winning Avs. We go back to the East. 2022 Eastern Conference Final. The 2-seeded Tampa Bay Lightning at the 1-seeded Carolina Hurricanes. Well, 2 in their division. Second straight playoff meeting between Carolina and Tampa Bay. Carolina is 2-2 all-time in the Eastern Conference Final. Tampa Bay is 4-3 all-time in the Eastern Conference Final. This is the first conference final since 2019 for Carolina. This is the 3rd straight conference finals appearance for Tampa Bay. This is the first meeting between Carolina and Tampa Bay in the Eastern Conference Final. Tampa Bay is 1-0 all-time against Carolina in the playoffs. And also, up to this point, Tampa Bay has won 10 straight playoff series. Game 1. Tampa, and it's the closest since Pittsburgh won 9 straight playoff series to the 2015-16 season to the 2017-18 season. Game 1. Lightning win 5-2 in Carolina. Goals by Hedman. He scores 2 goals. Kucherov scores the game winner. His second game winner of the playoffs. Cirelli and Matthew Joseph. His first game winner since the Game 6 first-round series against the Bruins. Matthew Joseph, as we said. Carolina gets 2 goals. Andrei Svechnikov and Martin Necas, the leading goal scorers, score goals in Game 1. Game 2, 4-1. Carolina wins. Anthony Cirelli, lone goal for the Lightning. Sebastian Aho. Jesper Fast with the game winner. Vincent Trocheck and Jacob Slavin. Series is tied at 1. 4-0 shutout for the Lightning in Game 3 at home. Braden Point scores a hat trick and the game winner. And also Mikhail Sergachev. Pot's a goal. Lightning lead the series 2-1. 3-2 win by the Hurricanes, though, in Game 4. Svechnikov, Sebastian Lorentz, and Morgan Geekie with the game winner. 2 goals for the Lightning, Killorn and Stamkos. Series is tied at 2. 3-2 win in Game 5 by the Lightning. Braden Point, Andre Palat, and Hedman gets the game winner for the Lightning. For Carolina, Jordan Martinook and Jordan Staal, the goals. And the Hurricanes face elimination for the first time. The Lightning head home, but are swamped 5-0 by Carolina in Game 6. Brett Pesce gets the game winner. Nino Niederreiter gets the second goal. Martin Necas, Dominic Bach, and Josh Levo. Lightning score no goals. And we go back to Raleigh for Game 7. Winner wins the East and goes to the Stanley Cup Final. The Lightning lose 3-2. Carolina wins 3-2. And finally, the King is dead. The Lightning lose a series 3-2. Sergachev, Corey Perry goals. Corey Perry scores the last Lightning playoff goal in the playoffs. Jordan Martinook, Jake Gardiner, and Svechnikov has the series winner to advance the Hurricanes to the Stanley Cup Final. And the Hurricanes win the Eastern Conference and advance to the 2022 Stanley Cup Final for the third time in franchise history and for the first time since 2006. And they are the Prince of Wales Trophy champions in 2022. The Western Conference Final. Vegas and Colorado from Denver. Second straight playoff meeting between Vegas and Colorado. Vegas is 1-2 all-time in the Western Conference Final. Colorado is 2-3 all-time in the Western Conference Final. But like the Carolina Tampa Bay meeting rematch, it's the first time in the conference final against these two teams after facing off for the first ever time in franchise history the year before. This is the third straight conference final meeting for Vegas and the fourth appearance in 5 years. This is the first conference final appearance for Colorado since 2002. This is the first meeting in the Western Conference Finals between Colorado and Vegas. Vegas is 1-0 all-time in the playoffs against Colorado. It should be noted, though, even though this is the fourth appearance in 5 years in the Western Conference Final, the past three, only one out of the past three. The first one against Winnipeg did the Knights win the conference final. Against Dallas and against Montreal last year, nothing. Only one game won against the Stars, only 2 games won against the Canadiens, and only one of those 2 games was won in regulation. Not that really matters, but just a little tidbit. And Vegas is 1-0 all-time in the playoffs against Colorado after beating them in 6 games last year after being down 2-0 in the series. 5-1, Knights win in Denver. Goals in Game 1. Goals by Shea Theodore, William Karlsson, Braden McNabb, Riley Smith, and Keegan Colasar. Lone goal for the Avalanche scored by their captain, Gabriel Landeskog. Game 2, 4-1 win by the Avs. Lone goal for the Knights scored by their captain, Mark Stone. Goals for the Avalanche scored by Bowen Byram, Andre Burakovsky, a second game winner, second playoff goal in playoffs. He had the series winner in the last round against the Wild, Nathan McKinnon and JT Compher. Goals for the Avs. Game 3, Avalanche shut out the Knights in Vegas. Their first ever franchise history win for the Avalanche in a playoff win in Vegas. Colorado, goals by Nazem Kadri, who's got the game winner, Tyson Jost, and Darren Helms' first Stanley Cup playoff goal as an Av, the former wing. Vegas, no goals. Should be noted, though, Helm did play 1 playoff series in his history against the Avalanche, but scored no goals in the playoffs since his first playoff goal occurred in the conference finals in Game 2 against the Dallas Stars, and the Avalanche never faced the Red Wings since that point, since that second round series. So, funny point there. But Red Wings obviously didn't make the playoffs, so that's not really that necessary. Just wanted to throw that little factoid there. No goals for Vegas. Avalanche lead the series 2-1. Vegas comes roaring back in double overtime. 2-1 win over the Avalanche. Mikko Rantanen getting the lone goal again for the Avs. Second goal of the series for Mikko. First goal of the series for Mikko as Landeskog scored in the Game 1. That's why I was confusing. Alec Martinez and Jonathan Marchessault gets the double overtime game winner to tie the series. Game 5 we go. 4-1 win again in Denver by the Knights. Max Pacioretty, Tuck gets the game winner. His first game winner of the playoffs. Not first goal. It was the second goal, but his first game winner. Evgeny Dadonov and Nick Waugh. Gabriel Landeskog, lone goal. Again, Second goal of the playoffs for Landeskog. Verlandy, and now game 6. 6-3, just like last year, in Vegas. Vegas wins against the Avalanche. Avalanche goals scored by Burakovsky, Mikko Rantanen. Mikko's second goal of the series, and Cale Makar's third goal in the final playoff goal for the Avs. The Knights, Shea Theodore scores 2 goals. Keegan Colasar, Riley Smith with the game winner, Jonathan Marchessault, and Nick Waugh. The Knights win the series 4-2, and for the first time since 2018, advance to the Stanley Cup final. For the second time in franchise history as well. They are the 2022 Clarence Campbell Bowl champions, the Vegas Golden Knights. The 2022 Stanley Cup final from Raleigh. The Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. Yep, that's what the Stanley Cup final will be. The Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. Starting goalies will be Robin Lehner for Vegas and Frederik Andersen for the Hurricanes. The first Stanley Cup playoff meeting between Carolina and Vegas, and the first meeting in the Stanley Cup final between Carolina and Vegas, of course. This is the first Stanley Cup final appearance for Carolina since 2006 and third in the last 20 years. They also made the Stanley Cup final in 2002, a loss. They're 1-1 in the Stanley Cup final. This is the first Stanley Cup final appearance for Vegas since 2018 and second in 5 years. Carolina's 1-1, we said. Vegas is 0-1 in the Stanley Cup final. Also, if you want to talk wins, Carolina has a total of 5 wins in the Stanley Cup final in their history, and Vegas has only won 1 game, and Carolina has won, 2 games on the road in their history in the Stanley Cup final. Game 4 in 2006 in Edmonton, and Game 1 in 2002 in Detroit. Game 1. Hurricanes win 3-2 over Vegas. Goals by Nick Hagan, Will Carrier for the Knights. For the Hurricanes, Slavin, Aho, and Svechnikov gets the game winner. Carolina leads the series 1-0. Game 2, Carolina wins 4-2 over Vegas. Vegas goals by Jonathan Marchessault and Dylan Sikura. Goals by Carolina scored another one by Fost, Sebastian Lorentz, Jordan Martinook with the game winner, Nino Niederreiter. Carolina leading the series 2-0. Game 3, the Knights shut out the Hurricanes 3-0 at home. Mark Stone with the game winner, Chandler Stevenson, and Matthias Janmark. Carolina leads the series 2-1. Deficit's close to that. Vegas 2, Hurricanes 1. Lone goal by the Hurricanes in Game 4 is Svechnikov. Tuck gets his third goal of the playoffs. Nolan Patrick scores his first Stanley Cup playoff goal as a Vegas Golden Knight. His second Stanley Cup playoff goal in his career. He scored 1 with the Flyers, and he wins the game and ties the series for the Knights. It has a series winning goal. Not sorry, win the game, because not like late or in overtime or anything like that. Game 5, Vegas stuns the Hurricanes of Carolina with a 4-3 win by the Knights. Patrick Brown, William Carrier, Keegan Colasar, and Alex Petrangelo's first goal of the playoffs. Second Stanley Cup playoff goal as Vegas Golden Knight, and he scores the game winner. He scored one last year against the Avs in the second round. Jake Gardiner, Jordan Staal, and Teuvo Teravainen goals for Carolina. And the Knights lead the series 3-2, their first ever Stanley Cup playoff road victory. And they go home with a chance to win the Stanley Cup for the second time in franchise history in the T-Mobile Arena. The Stanley Cup is in the building and eligible to be hoisted, but this time by Vegas, not last time in 2018 when the Caps were the only team to win it, and they did. Game 6, it goes to overtime. Vegas has a chance to win it in sudden death overtime and clinch the cup on the final goal. They do not get it done. A 3-2 overtime victory for the Hurricanes. Goals by Nashas and I can't remember the guy's first name for whatever reason, but Stefan, that's right. Stefan Nason's first Stanley Cup playoff goal as a Carolina Hurricane. His first goal since Game 3 of the 2018 playoffs when he was a New Jersey Devil. And Andrei Svechnikov gets the overtime game winner to keep his team's season alive. Dylan Coghlan and Brett Howden goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. Howden's first Stanley Cup playoff goal ever, actually. And as a Vegas Golden Knight. Go to Game 7 in Carolina. Hurricanes win 5-3 over Vegas. Goals by Pacioretty, Petrangelo's second goal of the playoffs, and Nick Waugh, second goal of the Stanley Cup final for Pietrangelo. This Stanley Cup final, because he He scored the Stanley Cup winner in Game 7 in 2019 as a St. Louis Blue. But as of night, Max Pacioretty, Alex Pietrangelo, Nick Waz. We said for Carolina, Vincent Trocheck, Jordan Martinook, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who else but Andrei Svechnikov with the Stanley Cup winner, and an insurance empty netter by Jordan Staal going down the same way that Justin Williams did more than 15 years ago with that empty net. Hurricanes win the series 4-3 and another Game 7 home win to win the Stanley Cup. And the Hurricanes win their second franchise Stanley Cup and first since 2006. And that's officially close as Vegas has come to sniffing the cup. 2022 Conn Smythe Trophy winner, it's got to be Svechnikov, but the runners-up are Sebastian Aho and Martin Necas. Anderson plays well, but not well enough to be a candidate. This is a scoring series, no doubt about it. Even if Vegas won, I wouldn't say Lehner's a candidate. This is a scoring series. We get to the awards. The King Clancy Award, won by Matt Dumba, defenseman of the Wild. Runners-up are Ryan Reeves and Dylan Larkin. The Bill Masterton Trophy, won by Bobby Ryan, the left wing of the Detroit Red Wings. Runner-ups are Robin Lehner, the goalie of Vegas, and Yanni Gourde, center of Seattle. The Mark Messier Leadership Award, awarded to Mark Stone, left wing from Vegas Golden Knights. Runner-ups are Roman Josi and Jordan Staal. Also, note to Red Wing fans listening, Rasmus Asplund just got a goal in a preseason game. It's 1-0 Buffalo, so very disappointing, but we move on. The Lady Byng Trophy Award, given to Steven Stamkos, center of the Lightning. Runners-up are Gabriel Landeskog and Patrice Bergeron. The Ted Lindsay Award, given to Connor McDavid. Runner-up are Nathan MacKinnon and Alexander Barkov. The Jim Gregory Award for the General Manager of the Year, given to Joe Sakic, General Manager of the Avalanche. Runners-up are Ron Francis, the GM of Seattle, and Don Waddell, the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. And Waddell and Ron Francis, of course, are very good friends and played against each other in the National Hockey League in the 1980s when Francis was a Whaler and Waddell was a Penguin. But anyway, Jack Adams Award for head coach goes to Rod Brind'Amour, head coach of the Hurricanes, and runner-up are Joel Quenneville, Florida, and Peter DeBoer of Vegas. The Selke Trophy winner for the most defensive forward in the National Hockey League, given to Patrice Bergeron. Runners-up are Sean Couturier and Mark Stone. Mark Stone, the winner of it last year. The Calder Trophy, given to Moritz Seider, defenseman of the Red Wings. Runners-up are Spencer Knight, the goalie of Florida, and Cole Caulfield, the left winger of Montreal. Norris Trophy winner for best defenseman in the league goes to Cal Makar. Runner-up are Victor Hedman and Jacob Slavin. The Vezina Trophy goes to Darcy Kemper, goalie for the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, I know Kemper's had some numbers go down, but I think he's the guy that really is an outstanding goalie that kind of now gets run support and a title-contending defense and just is going to get otherworldly numbers. Because with some okay defensive teams like Arizona and Minnesota, he put up some stellar numbers. Now he's got an elite team, and the numbers are going to go through the roof. Runners-up will be Igor Shesterkin and Andrei Vasilevsky. Hart Trophy winner, Connor McDavid. And runner-up will be Nathan MacKinnon and Anze Kopitar. I agree with a lot of NHL pundits. Kopitar's numbers go way up with the fact of LA's offense. But it wasn't enough to give it to me because McDavid's just ridiculous, and the Kings are not a playoff team. But McDavid will win the Hart Trophy for league MVP again. The Art Ross Trophy for leading scorer, most points in the season, is won by Connor McDavid, and the Rocket Richard Trophy is going to go to Andrei Svechnikov as well. I think he's a big goal scorer. All Rookie Team 2022 goalie Spencer Knight from Florida, Moritz Seider from Detroit as defenseman, Jamie Drysdale as defenseman from Anaheim, Cole Caulfield from Montreal, Vasily Podkolzin from Vancouver, and Trevor Zegras from Anaheim. All NHL First Team goalie Darcy Kemper from the Avalanche, defenseman Cal Makar from the Avalanche, Victor Hedman from the Lightning, Leon Draisaitl from the Oilers, Nikita Kucherov from the Lightning, and Connor McDavid from the Oilers. All NHL Second Team, you got Andrei Vasilevsky goalie, Jacob Slavin from Carolina, Jeff Petrie from Montreal, Brad Marchand from Boston, David Pastrnak from Boston, and Nathan MacKinnon from Colorado. In the final part of this video, the 2022 Hall of Fame inductees. Henrik Sedin, one of the greatest passers ever in the league. His brother Daniel Sedin. Henrik Zetterberg. These three, if you know me, are all linked together hockey-wise, but also culturally in my life. Some of the reasons why I love the Canucks and the Red Wings and their Hall of Fame numbers. I know Henrik and Daniel's numbers are retired. Hockeytown's got to retire that number 40. Caroline Ouellette, one of the most accomplished hockey players in the history. Didn't know too much about her, but she was a Team Canada player. She played in the World Juniors and the Olympics, over 15 years of hockey, and won 4 World Juniors, won a bunch of gold medals, one in the NCAAs, one in the professional hockey, a bunch of championships, the top women's goal scorer ever, Hall of Fame for sure. And then you got Megan Dugan, which is one of the best women wings of all time, who's one of the leading point getters ever. The World Juniors, the Olympics, it speaks for itself. Listen, I know a lot of people watch men's hockey, and I do, and don't really pay attention to women, but when you look at the stats, it's insanity. There are certain great NHL players that can't be put in the league, in the Hall of Fame this year, because Ouellette and Dugan's numbers are just that impressive. You can't put their numbers, even they're winning ahead of the Twins. I'm not going to put them ahead of Henrik Zetterberg, but you could make a case you could put them ahead of Zetterberg. Each one's incredible statistics and numbers and achievements speak for themselves. They're absolute Hall of Famers. And then the 6th Hall of Fame spot, that one to me on predictions, that one was kind of a little hard to struggle with because everybody's shooing in Roberto Luongo. I don't think he's a shoo-in. I think he may have to wait a few years. McGillney, to me, is still kind of up there in the air. I don't know. But also, since I picked the Hurricanes to win the Cup, it seems like he'll get enough support now to get in Rod Brind'Amour. So Rod Brind'Amour will win the Coach of the Year again, will win the Stanley Cup, and will be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. What a year. Again, the Hockey Hall of Fame inductees, Henrik Sedin, Daniel Sedin, Henrik Zetterberg, Caroline Ouellette, Megan Dugan, and Rod Brind'Amour. That is my NHL predictions. Get ready for the hockey season, October 12th, which is going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins facing off against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and also Vegas against Seattle, as I thought a preview of the playoffs. So get ready for that. Anyway, I'll see you next time on The Puck Drops Here. Happy hockey, everybody.